Hey, everybody, and welcome back. Jim Harbaugh is officially back, according to Santa Ono and Jim Harbaugh himself in a tweet, um, excluding Ward Manuel. So we shall see if him coming back had anything to do with NFL teams not wanting him, or was this all about NIL, assistant pay, and the further uh, the further investing of Michigan football. Joel Klatt had a great theory, and I had that same theory last year when he was interviewing for the Minnesota Vikings. Is he fighting for NIL and assistant pay, or does he really want to go to the NFL? I think both things can be true, like Mark Rogers says. Um, and I think both things were true. But he finally got what he wanted here at Michigan. Santa Ono, a president that actually cares about athletics for the University of Michigan, I think kind of overrid Ward Manuel. Ward Manuel doesn't like to pay anybody anything or invest in NIL. We'll see what happens with him in the future. But he did let Carol Hutchins retire. He let Eric Bakich leave. He let John Beeline leave. Mel Pearson, the hockey coach, was a different story there. He brought that on himself. But Jim Harbaugh seems like he really does care about the University of Michigan, which we all thought going forward after last year. And now that he is back, I can say I think he really does believe in Michigan and he's happy here. And why would he leave a team that returns Blake Corum, J.J. McCarthy, Donovan Edwards, uh, Zach Zinter announced he is back, Trevor Keegan is back, Greg Crippen, all the transfers in, the Stanford center, Greg Crippen, will be competing with Drake. Greg Kippen has been here. But, there's a lot of talent here for the offensive line. I think we go too deep in every position. So, everyone's back, and there are two things that I call on Harbaugh to do. Now that he is back and the whole team is back and they are looking for a national championship run. And that is be more balanced offensively. The defense has been great, and 15 of the 22 starters on defense are back, which was a top 5 in every category, basically, all back. So, we lose Mike Morris and Yabi Oki and DJ Turner and Jermon Green, 2 corners, will be missed. But let's see who we can bring in to fill them roles. Damani Jackson, will he transfer in? Nicholas Harbaugh, we still have he might come back. I doubt it, but there's still a February signing period, and now that Harbaugh's back before that signing period, it's kind of be better this season than it was last season. But like I said, there are a couple things I need Harbaugh to do. I'm gonna go over some Michigan all-time leaders in some stats and NCAA all-time leaders in stats. Completions in a season, John Navarre had 270. The NCAA record for a season is 512. And I don't want us to be like Ohio State or Graham Harrell at Texas Tech, who set the record in 2007. I want us to be balanced, just a little bit more. In a game, Tom Brady had 34 completions in a game. It was 1997 versus Alabama, and we won that game. It was an epic game. I loved it. I was 9 years old, so one of the first couple of years I got into Michigan, Tom Brady was completing 34 passes. There's no reason JJ should not be doing that. The NCAA leader for the entire nation, was Andy Schmidt in 2008 from Eastern Michigan, 58 completions. Yards per season for a quarterback at Michigan, John Navarre leads all time, 3,331. And the NCAA, Bailey Zappi has 5,967 in 2021. Western Kentucky. So, JJ was 8th all time in yards by a quarterback, 10 yards behind Harbaugh. JJ had 2,719 yards, 612 behind Navarre. Can we get that? Can we get JJ to be the all-time leader in passing yards in Michigan history? It's a low bar. It's a low bar. We should be able to do that. In a game, Devin Gardner had 503 passing yards versus Indiana, and Connor Halliday had the record all time, 734 yards in 2014. Michigan touchdown passes in a season. Elvis Gerbach, 25, way back in 1991. People like Joe Burrow and Stetson Bennett, and everyone's beating that. Everyone's beating that. Bailey Zappi, 62, is the national record. Western Kentucky to 2021. Jake Rudock had 6 in a game, among others, but he was the most recent in versus Indiana. And then David Klinger, Houston, had 11 in one game in 1990. Rushing the ball. I know we have a great ground and pound attack, and that's fine. Michigan's rush yards per season for a season. Tim Biakapatuka in 1995 had 1,818 yards, but he's still 610 yards or 810 yards behind Barry Sanders, who has the all-time record 2,628 in 1998 versus Oklahoma State. But Oklahoma State didn't win the title that year, and you have to have a balance. In a single game, Ron Johnson was the guy from Michigan, 347 versus Wisconsin. Samaj Perine from Oklahoma had 427 rushing yards in one game in 2014. So, we're moving the right direction. Running game is there, offensive line is there. Michigan has to rely on the quarterback, and they haven't done that, basically going back to, like Tom Brady, way back. Brian Griese, the national champion, even didn't have passing stats like these people. But that is what's winning. This game is moving more and more towards an offensive philosophy. Football in general, the rules, everything favors offense. So we have to capitalize on that. And if you can throw the ball and get JJ 3,600 passing yards, maybe 4,000 passing yards, God forbid, you have 3 non-conference games that you can work on this stuff. So I'm glad Harbaugh is back, and I love the culture he has built, and I love that he is retaining all the players from 2 straight playoff appearances in a row and all of the coaches as well. But we have to make a little bit of an adjustment here. Georgia did, they have all the talent in the world, and they let Stetson sling it. Rushing touchdowns in the season, it was Al Herrnstein way back in 1902 for Michigan, 26. And for the NCAA, it was Barry Sanders with 39 in 1988. In a game, it was Al Herrnstein as well. 7 touchdowns in 1902. And Howard Griffith was nationally the leader in 1990 and still is with 8 from Illinois. Receiving the ball needs to improve as well. Edwards, the receiver, man, why is it escaping my mind? Amazing talent, has the most receiving yards in a in Michigan history, if you count up all the career yards. Sorry about my parents. I got a thing there and this. But, damn it, how come I can't think of it? Monty and Edwards. He's on the Woodward podcast. He's a historic great. Can't think of his first name. Anyway, for a season, though, Jeremy Gallon has the most yards in a season receiving for Michigan, 1,373 in 2013. And that was when Denard Robinson was the quarterback. So the threat of the run just opened up the passing attack. Well, we want to kind of do the opposite, I think, at Michigan this season. We have the run. Let's open up the run more by passing the ball. Trevor Inslee is the NCAA leader, and he had 2,060 receiving yards at Nevada in 1990. In a game, Jeremy Gallon, again, 369 yards in one game versus Indiana. And Troy Edwards from Louisiana Tech in 1998 had 405. So we're not far off there for per game, but let's do this all season long. Strike the fear in these defenses. They don't need to know what's going to happen. And I'm sorry to say, TCU knew exactly what we were going to try to do, except for when we didn't try to do it. They knew that too. So balance is key. Be good at everything. Michigan, receiving touchdowns. Desmond Howard had 19 in 1991, which won him the Heisman Trophy for Michigan. And the NCAA record is Troy Edwards, again from Louisiana Tech in 1998. He had 27 receiving touchdowns. In a game, it was Derek Alexander from Michigan, 4 versus Minnesota, and Rashawn Woods from Oklahoma State in 2003 with 7. So like I said, it's, you can ground and pound and be physical and all that, but look at Alabama with their stretch. They did that too, but they modernized the offense and evolved and had playmakers on the outside and forced the ball down the field, even though it could compromise them and it could be a turnover. They got practice at it. Georgia, same thing. Clemson. This is what Michigan has to do now that Harbaugh has said that he is coming back. It'll make life easier on Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, Cole Cabana, C.J. Stokes, all the running backs that are coming back, and the offensive linemen. It's harder to run the ball, I would think. Be physical, push them, and do all that, and that's what they want to do. That's fine, but when you're passing the ball efficiently, all you got to do is step back and keep people in front and not let them touch. JJ, also in that TCU game, JJ proved that he can run the ball. And I know that Cade has left, and he was not a backup last year, so it was hard for Michigan to justify running the ball. What if he gets hurt? And then the season is over, basically, because we have no other quarterback. Because quarterback is important, but the team around them is more important, and that's what we have here at Michigan. And JJ is back, probably the best quarterback we've ever had. And Harbaugh is back. So that's why I'm so excited. Thank you, Harbaugh. I hope you got what you wanted out of it so that we don't have to do this every year ever again. And just go win. Go win and show recruits why they need to come here to the University of Michigan. So there you guys have it. Hope you liked the video. Share it, subscribe if you haven't, and have a great day, everybody. Go Blue.